What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I got a good one for you today. We're going to be making swim baits with the ES XL Slick Shiner mold from DoIt Molds. This is an 8 cavity mold and it makes 3.5 inch swim baits. I love this mold. I love these baits, and I think you will too. We're going to be making an electric shad color today. I've never made electric shad here on the channel, and I don't even think I've made it for myself. So we're going to be experimenting, trying to get it as close as we can. I'm going to go with a little bit more of a green hint than maybe some of the other ones, but I think it's going to turn out good, and I think they're going to catch fish. So real quick, I think there's a lot of people that end up being new to bait making that watch my videos. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware that there are starter kits and there are some different lead mold kits, soft plastic kits that you can buy on the DoIt Molds website. Anytime you go shopping on the DoIt Molds website, please use my affiliate link so that way they know that I sent you. It's the only way they track any of my sales. So using that link every time you go to their website is super helpful to me. A couple of the awesome features about this mold is how it's a vertical pour and the number of cavities. It's an 8 cavity mold, vertical pour, which is going to help you make awesome looking laminates. It's also a very, very good price point mold. These are much cheaper than your CNC molds, so make sure to check them out on the DoIt Molds website through my link. We got 2 cups of Plastisol. Recommend using a soft formula. The soft baits, crystal clear Plastisol from DoIt Molds in the soft formula would be perfect for swim baits. I like a softer Plastisol for swim baits so that way you can reel them at slower speeds. We're going to get this heated up. We're going to take our time heating it up so it stays real nice and clear, but we want to get that Plastisol up to 350 degrees. In order to make these swim baits, we're going to need a few things other than the mold. We're going to need a dual injector for those laminates. We're going to need some salt, 2 different cups in order for our 2 different colors, and then these are the flakes that we're going to be using. We're going to be using an 08 silver and an 015 black and blue. The black and the blue are going to go on the top, and then the silver is going to go on the bottom. And then obviously you're going to need some colorant, but we're going to kind of figure that out as we go. A little bit of green, a little bit of brown, maybe a little bit of black in order to darken everything up a little bit. All right, so our Plastisol is ready to go. We do have a little bit of bubbles in there, but we're just going to send it. I don't have a vacuum chamber, never used a vacuum chamber, and haven't had any problems with my bait, so I'm not worried about all the bubbles. We're just going to go through it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this salt to the Plastisol. I'm going to stir it all in there. This does cool it down, so after we get all that salt in there, we're going to need to heat everything back up. It's a 1/4 cup of salt basically to 2 cups of Plastisol. I like them a little salty. I like them to be able to be as soft as possible. I like them to be able to sink. I don't want that floating action out of my swim baits. Other baits, I do want them to float. Other ones, I want a little bit of weight to them, and these ones are those. All right, so we're at the point where we're going to start adding some flake to our cups. I got about a 1/8 of a teaspoon of blue. Gonna do 1/8 of a teaspoon of black, and the same 1/8 of a teaspoon in the silver. Those are what I'm gonna use for my flakes, and then we're just gonna stir everything in. This is 3/4 cup of Plastisol that I put into each of these cups. I like to go a little bit under the full capacity of these cups, because when you start stirring, you add the salt and everything, it just starts to kind of get close to the edge and you start having some problems sometimes. That silver looks pretty good. Let's get our other black and blue flake ready to go. Once these get mixed in here, I will heat them up a little bit because it is kind of cold out here today. So I'm gonna get these flakes mixed in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the colorant to the top. We're probably gonna leave the bottom color just how it is. First thing I'm going to do is add some watermelon colorant. I just want a little bit. That's 4 drops, and this stuff's pretty transparent, so it shouldn't do too much to that color. It's obviously going to green it up. It's obviously going to darken it up a little bit. And then I might add just a little bit of brown, because now it's kind of looking a little bit minty with that blue flake in there, and that's not what we're going for. We're not looking for mint color. We're looking for that electric shad, that brown. So we're going to have to add some of that brown in right now. So I'm going to add a couple drops of brown in there to darken everything up. That was more than a couple drops, but we're going to roll with it. Sometimes things kind of get stuck in the nozzles a little bit, and you just get a little bit of a different color than you're going, or a different amount than you're used to, but this wasn't too bad. Thankfully, those 2 colors are nice and transparent, so it didn't do too much. But I think we can go a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some watermelon brown X2 colorant. This stuff is very thick, so you don't need very much. I'm going to add literally 1 drop in there and see what it does. I want to go very slow as I do this because I don't want to overdo the color. But I think we're right where I want to be now. That's kind of what we're going for. And we'll do a test run and see how these turn out. So we have our slick shiner mold ready to go. We have our 2 different clamps. I recommend using heavy duty clamps to keep everything tight so you don't get a lot of flashing. One thing you want to think about when you're doing the laminates is sometimes you want to label the top, because some molds it does matter the top and the bottom. This is obviously one of them, and I labeled it. I don't know if it's coming through on camera, but I just have it top on the top side so that way I know what direction my top color needs to go in. Alright, so we're ready to go. We got our blending block in place. Got to stir everything up, and then we will get to our first pour. I'm only going to pour 1 or 2 of these. I don't like to pour a bunch on the first one in case your colors are wrong and you end up using a bunch of Plastisol. You got to make sure your blending block's in the right spot. That is very important. So we're going to draw up the Plastisol. Check for flow. We got a good flow. Make sure it's in the right direction like it is. Even pressure down. Hold that pressure, go to the next one, even pressure down, top it off, go to the next one. Normally I wear gloves when I do this, guys, but something happened to my gloves. I need to order a new pair and I forgot, so I'm just hoping not to get burned in this one, but I do not recommend doing it this way. Alright, it's time to check out our baits and see how they did. It's always a mystery with laminates, but I actually think these turned out really, really good. You can see that laminate real well right there. Another good laminate right there, dog barking in the background, and then this one even turned out pretty decent as well. But I think that's a pretty good electric shad color, guys. I'm not going to lie. We're going to gear up our Plastisol one more time and go for all 8. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I think these turned out good. All right, so round number 2 is ready to go. We're going to try to get as many of these swim baits as we can on this one. Draw up a bunch of Plastisol. Check for flow, good flow. Go over to our blending block. Even pressure down, it's key. Top off that sprue. I'm not going to get them all because I'm actually going to go every other because it helps me to get the spout of this blending block clean. And it usually produces better baits. So we'll probably do 4 of them on this run, 4 on another run. The key on laminates is you want your temperatures to be about the same, your consistencies of Plastisol about the same, and you gotta get even pressure. That's another key. If you get too much pressure on one side, you can blow out the other side and your colors gets all mixed up. All right, we are gonna check out our baits. Hopefully they turned out good. And it looks like they did. We got good laminate there, good laminate there, good one at the end. Then we'll check out these other 2. These ones I don't think turned out as good. Maybe it's just the direction or anything, but they just, yeah, actually they did. Maybe it's just the way the sun's hitting everything. I think this one was off a little bit, but actually this one is actually not bad. So this one, I think I had my injector in a little bit crooked, so it's not a perfect straight line down the middle. All right, so we're gonna go for another round of these electric shad slick shiners. Drawing up our Plastisol, checking for flow, good flow. Over to the mold, even pressure down. Topping off that sprue. Next cavity. You want to make sure you're as straight as possible on your mold so that way the laminate goes directly down straight into the mold. Get another one going. Even pressure, hold it, and then top everything off. All right, here goes nothing. Let's check these out. Hopefully they turned out good. You never know until you open the mold. But from first glance, I think they turned out pretty well. Decent laminates on all of them from what I can tell. This one might be a little off center, but I definitely think it's fishable. Let's flip it over and check it out. A little bit of bleeding over onto the other side, so this one isn't perfect, but it's definitely fishable. Well, guys, there you have it. There's a couple of our electric shad swim baits. It's a little bit more green than I think I would like, but overall, it's a good color. I think I should have added a little bit more brown in there, but you know what? These are going to catch fish. Real nice natural color, decent laminate. Overall, I'm pretty happy with them. Don't forget about my DoIt Molds affiliate link that I have down in the description of today's video. Anytime you click on that link to go to the website, they'll know that I sent you. So any sales through the DoIt Molds websites that you guys are gonna make, I really would appreciate if you use that link. I've got a product list all the way down in the description as well, so that way you know exactly what I'm using in today's video. It's gonna talk about the injectors, the Plastisol, everything is gonna be listed down there so you guys can go and do exactly what I'm doing here on the channel. And guys, that Slick Shiner mold is an awesome mold. It makes awesome swim baits. You can actually feel that thump of that tail when you're reeling it back to the boat. It's a pretty cool little swim bait. So I hope you guys liked today's video, and if you want to watch more tackle making, make sure to click on the tackle making playlist that I have on the screen right now. Or if you want to learn to make other swim baits, I got that video on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.